start a business. I was able to graduate college in 4 years with a Pell Grant and a state financial aid without any debt. But that might not be possible for today's students. For several years, I've been part of a chorus of experts who've called for radical simplification of the federal financial aid program. 3 key reforms could improve its effectiveness and efficiency. First, streamline all federal financial aid programs into one grant program and all loan programs into one loan program. With one grant, we'd consolidate the campus aid programs into a Pell Grant that would be easier to obtain and better targeted with common sense needs analysis changes. With one loan program, we'd create one set of annual and aggregate loan limits for undergraduates and one set for graduates. We would offer uniform borrower payment benefits and one income-based repayment program. Loan eligibility would end at new, sensible credit hour limits, such as 150% of program length. With one grant, one loan, today's students can easily find how much aid they would be eligible for with a simple lookup table. Just as easily, students could get instant notification on their phones of what their federal awards would be and what monthly repayment would look like. Advocates and academics have been calling for this kind of transparency and early notification for a decade. Second, remove the barriers to on-time completion that are built into the federal loan programs. The single most effective way to make college more affordable is to reduce the amount of time it takes to earn the credential. But here, the federal government is setting a too low standard backed by its $158 billion investment. And 47 states follow, which means the simple message we send students today is you all are on track to graduate in 5 years for a bachelor's degree. Now, why is this? Policy is capping our awards at 12 credit hours, which is even more, even for students who'd like to take more. The maximum amount of the grant and loan should be pegged to students taking 15 credit hours a term or 30 credit hours a year. Students should also have access to grant aid throughout the summer. Third, I think it's important to include tax credits in your financial aid eligibility. Now, this is well beyond the jurisdiction of this committee. When this Congress considers tax reform, I encourage you to consolidate the multiple household-based post-secondary benefits into a single refundable lifelong learning tax credit. Now, these 3 simple recommendations are more than just student-centered, they are evidence-based. Research says that student aid works best when it's targeted, appropriately timed, clearly communicated, coordinated with other resources, and designed to provide both incentives and supports. Congress can look to states to see how simplification can make a difference for today's students. Indiana, for instance, offers larger need-based grants to students who take 30 credit hours a year or more, and requires its 21st Century Scholar students to take that true full-time course load to receive their maximum grant. And we have early encouraging results out of Indiana. Students receiving this financial aid are taking 30-plus credit hours their sophomore year at higher rates than their peers, and the improvements are particularly stronger for the two-year sector. Minnesota, it consolidates its federal and state aid, and it gives larger awards to students who take true full-time course loads. As a result, students in Minnesota, 2/3 of them, of the full-time students, they're on track to graduate in 4 years with a bachelor's degree or 2 years with an associate's degree. California's Pell Grant recipients can access a simple, generous Cal Grant. This contributes to the University of California campuses, enrolling a larger percentage of Pell Grant students than any other flagship in the country. The nation's federal financial aid system was built for another era. In 1965, when the first significant federal financial aid program began, 23% of Americans had a college degree, and that attainment level was sufficient for a vibrant middle class. That economy and those times are no more. By 2020, 65% of our jobs will require some form of post-secondary education beyond high school. A simplified federal financial aid system is part of the solution for a nation that needs many more skilled graduates, a stronger middle class, and more opportunity. Thank you, and I welcome your questions.
Thank you for your testimony. And Ms. Copeland-Morgan, you have the floor so you can get me back on the Cats versus Bruins is coming up this